Hey y'all, it's Sherry with Hecate's Needle. Welcome to my craft room. Today is Thursday, January 29th, 2026. And we are joined here today by the gorgeous little Hecate, who is enjoying her sunbeams. We have the adorable Jelly Bean, who has taken his spot on my cutting table. And we have the lovely Artemis, who has made herself comfy. She's already been to Starbucks today and had a pup cup, so she's happy. And trust me, she slurped that whipped cream all the way up to my elbow, which was not fun. But Mama got a peppermint mocha. So, Mama just needed some caffeine. Anyway, I want to start off by saying we're going to see how this video goes. Might be a little awkward. I had an accident because I'm graceful none of the time. Literally, I fell out of the house onto the concrete front porch. Yay. Believe me, I'm a klutz. I know I'm a klutz, and it's okay. I've grown used to it after 56 years. I'm a klutz. But, you know, concrete can be very unforgiving when you land on it. And so I ended up with a sprained ankle, badly sprained ankle. I ended up with all of the skin on my left knee is gone. It kind of looks like hamburger meat. I have sprained my left wrist and broken my left elbow, and I need to stop moving it. So yeah, I only have one hand right now. They did not cast my elbow. I actually fractured the head of the radial bone. So this bone here, the head of it inside the elbow is what I fractured. And when it's in a spot like that, they don't want to immobilize it because your arm could stiffen up, the muscles contract, and you may not get full range of motion once you're healed. And so they want you to continue to lightly use it. They gave me some exercises and things to keep it from stiffening up like that. So they don't cast it, which on the one side, I don't have a big bulky cast hanging off one side of my body, but on the other side, that means I am more apt to bump it or accidentally use it in a wrong way. I'm not supposed to lift. I'm not supposed to do a lot of things. No kind of resistance, anything. So it's got pros and cons. We'll put it that way. But in any case, I only have one arm to use today, and that is why. So I'm sorry for the way I look. Again, I only have one arm. It's hard to primp with just one arm. But anyway, so I do have some cross stitch, no sewing. Really not much of life because I've just kind of been here trying to heal. So we'll go ahead and get started. Cross stitch. Cross stitch, I have two starts. One of those is a start, finish, and fully finished, so it's the full Happy Meal. And I do have some progress. I am still able to stitch because I have the stand that my son gave me, so I can put my project in a hoop, put it in the stand, and just stitch with my right hand. And I've been doing a lot of that the last few weeks, because I can't really do much of anything else. I've also been reading and playing some video games. That's about it. But anyway, we'll start with our full Happy Meal. This one, what'd I do with it? Oh, there it is. This one was a small kit that I already had in my stash. I had said at the beginning of the year that I wanted to start getting these small kits done and out of my stash. And I'm currently stitching all fairly big projects, so I kind of wanted a break. Every now and then you need a finish to kind of pump you up, and so I pulled out one of my small kits, and this one was so appropriate. It's by Leisure Arts, and it's Spicy Disaster. Now this one is very small. It was stitched on just a 14 count Aida. All kit materials. It came with the hoop, but here it is. Ow, ow, ow. Don't do that. So, this only took 2 days to stitch. It was quick and easy, super cute. I'm not a hot mess, I'm a spicy disaster. And considering how my year is going, I would say that's pretty fitting. That's a pretty accurate description right now. First, the ceiling fan tried to bounce off my head, and then I decided to bounce off the concrete front porch. I'm awesome. But anyway, and it's a full finish. I just put black felt on the back, and there you go. So there's my start, finish, and fully finish. The next one I started is being housed in my shiny butterfly bag made by me. And it is Absinthe by Arzonarica, I guess is how you pronounce it. If it's wrong, I'm sorry. This is what I'm doing for my son. Now, it may not be done in time for Christmas. If not, I'll just send it to him whenever. But I am doing this one for my son. He does like absinthe, so I thought this was perfect for him. Now, this is a big full coverage piece. It's got about 69,000 stitches in it. But I got a start. I did get a good start. Okay. We'll figure this out. I have 4. So, here is my start. Now, I put in 594 stitches, and that's 1%. I started in the middle. That hurt. And see, this is why I said it's bad. One of the reasons it's bad to not have a cast is you have the natural instinct to use that arm, even though you're not supposed to. But anyway, I started in the middle. This is part of the lettering. Maybe if I fold it, that would be better. There we go. This is part of the lettering that goes down the middle. In fact, I think it's the N, judging from that. But that's how much I've got done so far. This is being stitched on a 16 count white Aida, plain white. It's a full coverage, so there's no reason to have, the fancy fabrics or anything like that. I'm using all DMC, all called for colors. And that's the first one. Okay, so the next one I worked on was Treasure Island. That's the free stitch along from 2023 by Owl Forest Embroidery. When it's finished, it will look like that. And when you last saw it, it looked like that. When you last saw it, I had finished 6 of the characters from the story. And I had said I was taking a break from doing little guys. So now this is what it looks like. I stitched this barrel and this sea monster, and I've begun working on the map. Now, I put 835 stitches into this one, and that puts it at 45%. Before I go on to the rest of the little guys, I want to start filling this in, the middle part. Now this is being stitched on a 16 count Aida that I tea-dyed myself. And I'm using all DMC, the called for colors. But I really like how it's turning out. Fold it up. Ow. That area there, as you can see, I was doing the waves, and now I'm starting to fill in the land. So, progress on that one. Now the next one I worked on is being housed in my little kitty cat bag. And this one is the Bee Mandala by Doreen Jones, which I love. Jelly Bean is being a cat. In, out, in, out, in, out. But here we go. I love this one. Now, this one, I'm actually stitching on a 14 count Aida. It is in the colorway Frosty by Witch's Garden Crafts. When it is finished, or when you last saw it, it looked like that. Now, it looks like that. I have finished this beehive, and I'm working on stitching all of the, well, I've been working on stitching all of the greenery around it, and I've worked my way up to the next bee. I put in 747 stitches on this one, and that put it at 57% complete. So, just over halfway. I really enjoy working on this one. I really do. I am using all called for colors, all DMC. And that's where I was working. And as you can see, I've begun the flower that goes under the bee. So very pleased with that. Now, the last one I was working on is being housed in my little watermelon bag. And it is Fruit of the Gods by Yasmin's Made with Love. It's the little pomegranate sampler. I love these Fruit Garden series ones. I really do. I'm having so much fun with them. And I love how they turn out. Now, when you last saw it, it looked like that. I was working on the border. Now, it looks like this. I've completed the border. I have done this pomegranate and that pomegranate, and now I'm working on the leaves along the bottom. I put in 1,296 stitches, and that put it at 64%. So we're just about 2/3 of the way through. I love it. I love how it's turning out. Now I am stitching this one on a 14 count Aida, and it is in the color Moss Celadon, which is just a light sage green. I am using Floss by Forbidden Fiber Co. in the color Orchard, which is a beautiful ruby red, which I thought was, or garnet red actually, which I thought was perfect for pomegranate. Absolutely love how this one is turning out. Love working on it. I really enjoy it. Why do I have a knot? Okay. But definitely made good progress on that one. And those are all the projects I worked on. So we can put this giant board away before it falls on me like everything else. Those are the ones I've worked on. I've made good progress. I've done well. I'm very pleased with it. Now, like I said, my plans for this year are to stitch as many of the little kits in my stash that I can, because I have them because I thought they were beautiful and I want to stitch them. So let's get them stitched, you know. And that's why it's going to be another no buy year. I want to use up as much of my stash as I can before buying new things. That being said, I do have a few acquisitions. Now, I did have to go buy a bunch of floss because my master stash, I had several empty bobbins, so I did buy floss. And then after Christmas, Forbidden Fiber Co. had their 12 Days of Christmas sale. And basically, for the 12 days after Christmas, there was something on sale every day. One day they had their ready-to-ship fabrics on sale, so I got 2. Now the first one is a very nice gray, and it is 14 count. It's a 1/4 yard, and it's in the color Morning Mist. A very nice gray, and I already have some ideas of what I want to put on it. I just have to decide and narrow it down. So I got that one, and then the next one I got is also 14 count and is also a 1/4 yard, and it is ultra pink. My daughter loves pink, so I'm sure I can find something to put on this for her. But they were at a price that I couldn't resist. So I went ahead and got them. And like I said, I already have an idea of what I want to put on the gray one. I just have to narrow it down between the 2 or 3 that I'm thinking of. And then the pink one, I'm always stitching for my daughter, so that'll be easy enough. And those were my acquisitions. Now, plans. My plans going forward for next month. I was thinking about doing a 4 elements February to see if I could finish that project. But I think I've changed my mind. I think I want to do a finish February. I have projects. I have a few projects that are over 50% done. The pomegranates, like I said, that's 2/3 of the way done almost. So I think if I just sit down and stitch that one, I can get it finished. The bee mandala is another one that's over 50%. So I think I can get that one finished. Instead of just focusing on finishing one that is not even at, well, I think it's a little over 50. And I may work on that one as well, if I have time. But I think what I'm going to do is take the one that I'm closest to finishing is the pomegranates. So I think I will finish that one first. And then I may go to either the 4 elements or the bee mandala, whichever one is closest to being finished, and finish that one. That way I can get 2 finishes next month and get 2 projects off my list. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, is have a finish February. That sounds good to me. And that way, like I said, I can get those off my list. Now, I'm not really counting the absinthe project as, a whip per se, because I'm doing it for my son. It's a gift. So I would be doing it regardless. And I'm actually expecting 2 kits for my daughter that I want to do. So those probably won't be counted as whips either, because those are ones that I'm going to focus on to get finished for Christmas. Now, absinthe, I don't know if I can finish that by Christmas. I mean, that's 65,000, almost, or 69,000, almost 70,000 stitches. I don't know if I can do that. That might be wishful thinking. That may just be like a middle of the next year present for him. Just, hey, mom loves you present. Which is fine. He doesn't care. But, yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do for February. I did find in the garage in a box that had been in storage before we moved, and I'm going to have to reframe this, but it is a 30-year-old project that I did for my daughter when she was a baby. As you can see, it's kind of ragged. I'm gonna have to reframe that. But there you go. That used to hang on her door. So I will be reframing that one and putting that back up on her wall for her, because she's already told me yes, she wants it back on her wall. So I think that's it for cross stitch at this point in time. So on we go. Sewing, I have nothing. I'm not able to sew. Go figure. I once my arm heals, then I will have plenty to sew, but until then, there's no sewing, no crocheting. My husband is working on 2 crochet projects. He is working on his Stoat by Pika-Pow, and then he is also working on a little monster that he is crocheting up. So he is working on those until this wrist heals, the sprain, and this elbow, the fracture, heals. I'm not going to be doing any crocheting or sewing. So it is what it is. That's fine. All of my projects will still be waiting for me once they heal. So that's it for sewing. Life. I'm determined this year to see how much damage I can take. Like I said, last time it was the ceiling fan falling off the ceiling. This time, what happened was we were walking out the front door. We were going to Home Depot to get some things for the garden. And I don't know why. I don't know if I tripped over air or what. Nothing was near me. Nothing was under my feet. But I twisted my ankle and literally fell out of the front door onto the concrete front porch before my husband could catch me. All the skin off of my knee. As I said, a sprained wrist, a sprained ankle, a broken elbow. Because I'm gifted. It is what it is. I have been a raging klutz my entire life, so this is no surprise. This is actually the third time I've broken this elbow. That tells you something. And I broke this wrist once. And too many toes and fingers to count. I am a klutz, and it is what it is, and I'm used to it. But in any case, that happened on not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. That evening. And then Monday evening or Monday afternoon, I called my husband at work and said, you need to really come home and take me to the ER because I think I may have broken my arm. And sure enough, x-rays, CT scans, I had broken my arm. I broke my arm, sprained my ankle and my wrist badly. So and the funny thing is, the whole time I was in the ER, you fell? Are you sure you fell? I think they were trying to get me to say, oh no, he beats me. But no, I really just fell. Okay. But they treated me. They put my arm in a splint, not a cast, a splint, and then told me to make an appointment with my orthopedic surgeon. So I went and saw him last Wednesday, and he immediately took the splint off and said, no, we don't want to do that, not for this kind of break. And as I explained, he's like, no, we want you to move that elbow as much as you can without hurting yourself, obviously, or making the break worse. But here, I want you to do these little low impact exercises, a couple times a day, just to keep that mobility in your elbow. So, okay. And then he gave me some pain meds, which they're opiates. So I know the hospital gave me one while I was there. And then I took one when I came home, or the next day before I went to the orthopedic surgeon. But since then, it's just ibuprofen. I don't like the opiates. They don't play well with me. And I don't like anything that's addictive. So, other than good old caffeine. When my kids were little, caffeine was the only thing standing between me and a jail cell on certain days, especially my son when he was a teenager. But anyway, otherwise I'm okay. Like I said, my husband's doing a lot to help me during the day. My daughter helps with whatever little things I'm trying to do. Obviously, cleaning house. My husband, normally I do that on Fridays, but we'll we'll wait, and my husband will help me do it on Saturday. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there, and you know what? Hopefully, nothing else happens to me this year, because I think I'm done. Okay. I don't know. Like I said, I guess I tripped over air. I don't know. But in any case, I'm fine. Um, it hurts. Even just sitting here like this hurts, but it's manageable pain. So I just take an ibuprofen, and I'm okay. It's bearable, and I guess I have plenty more time to stitch now. Since I decided to see how much of my person I can break in one shot. And I can't even blame any of the animals, because none of them were near me. But anyway, so that's what's going on here. We haven't really been able to do much, except for, my husband threatening to lock me in a padded room and wrap me in bubble wrap, which, I don't know, there are days that may be a good idea. But anyway, that's all that's going on here. I am sorry if this video was a little awkward. I did the best I could with one arm. And I'm going to keep on stitching because I can't do much else. But I'm going to keep on working on my projects. I will probably, I don't know, I'm thinking about starting a new, one of my smaller kits, one that my daughter wants. And I may do that for her for February, for Valentine's Day, or her birthday. Her birthday's at the end of February, so, it's just 10 days after Valentine's Day. So if I don't get it done by the 14th, maybe it'll be done by the 24th. It's a small little kit by Forbidden Fiber Co. So, but anyway, that's all that's going on here. I can't really do a whole lot of anything. So, plenty of stitching time, right? But that's it for me. I do want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and somebody's trying to come in the door. It's a cat. But anyway, thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I appreciate it. Thank you for all of the comments, the likes. Love you all. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then you just kind of stop by and see what I'm up to. I appreciate you too. In any case, if you saw what you liked, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Comment. I will always answer your comments. And I will see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.